The Void, Series 1, Episode 3. Trust in the Enemy, by Richard Marcus Powell. Chapter 9. When Skenn returned to consciousness, it felt different. He was very fuzzy-headed, possibly still chemically offset by sedatives, but his headache had finally rescinded. Not just reduced, but gone entirely. He hoped it was his natural state and not down to painkillers. There was also something else, something unquantifiable. It was like his body was waiting to react to something. But what? There was a sense of anticipation that wasn't there before, not without a threat present anyway. He wanted to retreat away, find a more secure space. It then occurred to him what this was. It was a feeling, an emotion he had not felt in a very long time. Fear. This wasn't just the self-preservation reflex, but the part of humanity that warned against a course of action. It was instinct that made a person avoid a punch, but it was the fear that made a person avoid the conflict to begin with. Skenn realized that he had been operating on instinct for a very long time now. He hadn't felt this feeling for decades, and it disturbed him. He was in a bed in the medical bay and could see a number of other beds in close proximity, only one of the others occupied with someone who was sedated. "Good, you're awake." Skenn noted it was the doctor again, and felt a little relieved. "How am I?" "That was going to be my question to you," Akari responded, smiling. "The pain in my head has gone completely, but I feel fine otherwise. Except what?" This part didn't come easily for Skenn. He rarely talked to other people for any reason beyond mission parameters, let alone relate his feelings to them. "I feel afraid." "That's normal." "Doctor, I don't think I've ever felt like this before." "I'm not surprised. One of the implants we removed was regulating your emotions." "Regulating them? In what way?" "Well, it wasn't suppressing any emotion entirely, as that would be disastrous, but it was suppressing some and amplifying others. Your fear was being suppressed, for example. Not entirely, but it was being reduced to a minimal level. Likewise, your feelings of happiness and contentment were being amplified, although I suspect that might have been done in conjunction with some form of behavioral modification," Akari explained. "That explains a few things," Skenn replied. "I thought I was just conditioned to withstand fear." "That may still be true, but someone wanted to make damn sure you could." "I can answer the other two. I think the happiness was turned up so I enjoyed my work, perverse as that may sound." "And did you?" "Yes. I took great satisfaction out of it. Does that shock you?" "It shouldn't do, but it does." "Imagine living with it all your life, then finding out you might not be a monster after all." "How does it make you feel?" "I suppose the civilized response would be to feel relieved." "And do you?" "No, not really. I feel confused, I suppose would be the right word. Maybe ambivalent." "Well, I suppose I should thank you for being honest with me." "I thought about it. But if I lie about this, how can you trust me when I tell you what I have locked up in here?" Skenn explained, tapping his forehead. "What was the other implant?" "It was regulating adrenal responses." "Boosting them when I needed them, suppressing them when I didn't." "In summary, yes." "What about all the others? I know some are designed to boost my reaction times, and I know others are combat enhancers, but I don't know everything they crammed into my head." "That's going to take some time to determine, I'm afraid. You're pretty messed up in there, and it's going to take some sorting out. I dare say you've not been your true self your whole adult life." "Does this mean I'm responsible for my actions or not?" "I don't know, to be honest," Akari answered. "I don't know if it absolves you, but it may provide some mitigating factors." "That may help my case, then." "Maybe, but don't count on it," Akari stated. "Another thing I wanted to ask you about is that skull fracture you have, or rather had. It's healed up now, but it wasn't that long ago. That's what started this whole series of events, Skenn hinted. Got beaten unconscious by someone I was hunting. They surprised me and clubbed me round the head so hard I didn't come to for hours. Happens to the best of us. How did that start off the problems with your implants? Imagine, Doctor, having an implant inside your head that prevented you from making certain decisions. Every time you think of what you want to do, your mind clouds and your train of thought becomes harder and harder to hold on to. No matter how hard you want to pursue a certain course of action, you can't. It just falls apart in your mind, Skenn described. You do the only course of action that's left, because it's the only thing you can do to move on. So you were effectively controlled? In a way, yes, Skenn responded. Now that fractured my skull somehow managed to damage it. For the first time I can remember, I can finally form a cogent thought of my own without it dissolving into mush. The damage didn't give me autonomy, but it allowed me to work against it. This is why you decided to defect. That came later, but yes. Now you want them all out. Not all of them. Some still have their uses. I know there's one that switches off pain responses when I need to. That one can stay, and the one that enhances my reflexes, Skenn considered. But I want everything that controls my behavior gone, even that one that acts as a firewall between my brain and a network. If you can get it out without killing me, then do so. I think we're going to have to go through each one in turn, review it, whether you want to keep it or not, then remove it individually. I want them gone as soon as possible. We'll have to do them one at a time, Mr. Skenn. Neural interfacing is delicate work, and doing them one at a time is the best way to reduce any potential harm, Akari pointed out. And your brain has suffered a significant amount of trauma already. It will be worth it to be free of him. Who? Teel, Skenn revealed. It was at his request that you had all the implants put in. Skenn acknowledged. Captain Schafer still wants to interrogate you at the earliest opportunity, Akari stated. I think you need time to recover. A few weeks bare minimum. It will give us some time to do a more detailed assessment of your mental state as well. If it's all the same to you, Doctor, I'd rather get this done as soon as possible myself, Skenn dissuaded. I just want a bit of sleep first. If you're sure you're up to it. I just have one request. What's that? I'd like you to be there as well. I was going to insist anyway, as I want to monitor your condition during the sessions. I was more concerned with getting all emotional at weird times. I'd rather have someone around who understands what is going on. It might prevent any possible misinterpretation. I can assure you I will be there, Mr. Skenn. Thank you, Doctor, Skenn responded. I haven't seen too many acts of kindness, and even fewer that didn't have some form of vested interest, so it is appreciated. I do this for everyone, Akari added. This doesn't make you special. That just makes it better, Skenn mused. But I don't think your other patients scare you quite like I do. Does my fear excite you then? Akari questioned, trying to cover up her fear with bravado. Not really. I'm just used to seeing it, Skenn reflected. If anything, it just makes me feel numb. Good, Akari sighed. And I am scared because you are my polar opposite. You are my nemesis, professionally speaking. And that is why I am grateful. You have every right to resent me for what I am, and you have every right to treat me with utter disdain. Yet you do not. I couldn't do that any more than you could fight against that implant, Akari explained. I should resent you, but I see what they've done to you, and I can't help but feel some sympathy. Let's see if I'm deserving of it.